Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I just sat down and made this video, sat and spoke for 10 minutes. Realised afterwards that the microphone was not on, so we're going for a take two. I've done this a lot recently. I just wish my softwares would work the way I would want them to. But a lot of talk recently, a lot of people asking me to actually speak about this in the comments on my last video. And it's a matter I feel like should be brought up. I've voiced my discontent to situations like this before many a times on the channel. And you can already tell by the title of the video what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to be talking about Joey Barton. His comments over the past week towards not only Scott Brown and Celtic, but altogether on Scottish football. And my take on whether or not he is just a self-obsessed, disrespectful, attention-seeking arsehole. I think those are the words that first of all come to my mind when thinking about Joey Barton. If you're very, oblivious to the situation, obviously you may have seen what happened with Scott Brown against Motherwell last week. He got a player red-carded. Very controversial decision, some may say. Motherwell fans weren't happy, a lot of people weren't happy, and a lot of people giving Scott Brown stick for it. At the end of the day, I don't think it was a red card, but I think a lot of people are overreacting to what Scott Brown done. He didn't roll about the flare or anything, it wasn't too drastic. The referee made his decision and gave a red card, which may or may not have been the wrong decision. Personally, it's in the past now. I couldn't give a toss. But Scott Brown was criticised by many people, and Joey Barton decided to be one of those people coming out, not just taking his dig at Scott Brown, as I said, but Scottish football using quotes like League One standard and quoting that Scott Brown is not the full shilling. I don't know why we're talking about shillings in 2018, Joey, but we'll go away anyway. We'll roll on with your comparison of Scott Brown. So Joey Barton, a man who made one appearance for his country in his career, a man who won the Sky Bet Championship, the Sky Bet Championship playoffs, and was forced into early retirement because he couldn't help himself put a line on at the bookies. By line, I mean a bookie line, like a coupon, not another type of line. Joey Barton has carried himself pathetically, I would say, throughout his career at points, and that is not just me being sour. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Joey Barton is one of the most hated figures in British football in history, and he's made a right arse of himself at points, and in this situation he does not make any valid ground to try and defend himself against the likes of Scott Brown. Scott Brown is a man who has made 55 appearances for his country, won numerous league titles with Celtic, 7 league titles. He has won numerous Scottish Cups, numerous League Cups, played in Champions League group stage matches, Champions League knockout matches, and captained both club and country. A club the size of Celtic, and just captained his country altogether, while Joey Barton struggled to actually make an appearance. He was selected and God knows how. But, Joey Barton's coming out and saying Scott Brown isn't that good. He's not the full shilling. An absolute joke, I would say, of a comment from Joey Barton, a man who lasted minutes in the Scottish Premiership. He was here and he was gone. He was embarrassed. He was nutmegged off Ali Crawford in his first game in the league. Sums it up for me. A man who, as Chris Sutton said, and I would agree with, couldn't handle the pressure of playing for a club the size of Rangers. This is a man who spent his career at teams like Burnley, Queen's Park Rangers, Newcastle. No disrespect to those clubs whatsoever, right? No disrespect to anybody who may be a fan of Burnley, Newcastle, whatever, watching this video. He has played in championship games for teams like them, whereas Scott Brown has been playing Champions League last 16 round games at points, captaining Celtic. The difference is genuinely mild. It couldn't be further apart. He will never understand what it's like to captain, never mind play for, never mind captain, a club the size of Celtic with fans like us. Celtic is an institution, we all know it. Celtic are one of the biggest clubs in world football. This is Celtic. Can't even see my fucking hand. This is Burnley. Down here. No disrespect once again to Burnley. I don't want Burnley fans commenting for watching the video saying I'm being disrespectful. It's just the truth. It's the honest truth. Joey Barton is a man who was embarrassed by Scott Brown on the middle of Celtic Park. We all seen it. Joey Barton couldn't handle it, and Scott Brown summed it up perfectly by saying it was men against boys, because Scott Brown played like a man that day and Joey Barton played like a child. It was the honest truth and we all bore witness to it. Joey Barton came here, 6 games into his Rangers career, was done. Went down south, decided to badmouth, went back to Burnley. Then he decided to badmouth the Scottish game and Celtic, and now it's piping up yet again. Hugh Keevins broke Twitter yesterday, I would say, by perfectly summing it up by calling him an attention-seeking ball-bag. Those 3 words couldn't have summed it up more perfectly. Hugh Keevins, I do hate you sometimes, but sometimes I've got to love you. And in this situation, I do love you, because it's the honest truth. This is the situation we found ourselves in the year 2018. Now that Celtic fans have a platform with a manager such as Brendan Rodgers to actually say, you know, we're having a fantastic time, we've got a fantastic team, we're doing fantastic things, we're pushing forward. English media, English pundits want to knock us right back down, and they can see themselves getting a comment that will go viral amongst the English and the Scottish by just saying we're not that good or whatever. League One standard was the term used by Joey Barton. If it's League One standard, why did you bring yourself here, mate? You were going on and on and on about how you were going to win the league with Rangers, and how you were going to give Celtic their wake-up call, and how you were going to be this fantastic player in the league. But yet, now you're calling it League One standard, which clearly shows that you find yourself a League One standard player, because you shat yourself to go to the Premier League with Burnley and came up here, only to shit yourself again and leave. Forced out the league, mate. He didn't really shit himself at this country, he was more or less forced out. But you know, League One standard, that is a pathetic. You know, Celtic are a team going away to Anderlecht, playing Zenit St Petersburg, played by Munich, giving them very, very good games. Let's put up a team like Plymouth Argyle against Zenit St Petersburg, and let's just see what happens. Let me just test that. I would love to see, because that'll really test whether or not it's a League One standard league. Now, there are teams towards the bottom of the table, Hamilton, Academico, St Johnstone, you know, teams, Motherwell, you know, these are teams that aren't obviously of great standard, and are going to be a bit easier for Celtic to beat. But show yourself a bit of respect, and this league isn't a league that is run by Sky Sports, it isn't funded by Saudi Arabian money, it isn't run around business, it's run about football. It's run about the fans. Celtic fans will go to Parkhead every week, Rangers fans will go to Ibrox every week. Whoever, Partick Thistle fans will go to Firhill, not to watch £700,000 a week players, that's a bit of an exaggeration, 300 grand a week players roll about the flare. They'll go and watch a game of football because they enjoy football, and it doesn't matter who in the fucking park is playing it. We're no, you know, we're no glory hunting bastards up here who are just interested in going to a game to get photos of a player who might be slightly better than what we're used to seeing. No, it's a league that's run for football fans, and we watched it for the football. And he's coming out with all these comments, you know, disrespecting the league and that. Well, why did you not stay and prove it then, mate? Why did you go back down south? Why did you go back down south and then start to slag us again? And then you get yourself papped to playing football altogether. You're a man who went to France and put on a French fucking accent at a press conference, height of ignorance, thinking you were funny, slagging off the fans, how boring it was, some shit like that. Your career has been a joke, Joey Barton. And the fact you have the cheek to slag someone who is, you know, as big as Scott Brown, and I don't care if it's a Rangers fan watching this video and they want to sit in the comments and slag Scott Brown, there is no doubt, there is no way you could sit back and give shit to Scott Brown. A man who's capped his country club, and I went through his attributes. A man who gets constantly spoke about for how important and how impressive he is in Champions League group stage matches, not only for his leadership and his passion, etc., and his captaincy, but for the way he's actually played, his interceptions, his aggression, the way he runs around the park. He has, you know, picked up impressive stats over the past 2 years and really been picked on for how impressive these group stages he has been. And yet Joey Barton seems to think he's a better player when he was embarrassed on the middle of Celtic Park last year when we beat them 5-1. And it's self-attention seeking that, you know, Joey Barton is wanting, and he knows he's going to get a response by Celtic fans going viral on Twitter, and I'm making a response now by giving my video here. And obviously that is what he wants, and I shouldn't really give him what he wants. I mean, he's not going to see this video, shouldn't really give him what he wants, but I feel like it's a point where it's just annoying because Celtic are something he'll never understand. Celtic fans is something he'll never have behind him. He's probably never had a fucking fan behind him because he's shite. But what can you do? It's, you know, pathetic comments, he can't handle it, and I'd love to see him come back up here and see how he'd do again, but ultimately we're not going to see that because he's banned for playing football, because we'll see now the state of his career. He's a man who doesn't have a very good reputation on and off the park, yet Scott Brown has conducted himself throughout his career as a professional, as a leader, and apparently he's not good enough in Joey Barton's books, which I just find hilarious. I find hilarious. But, you know, League One standard, well, a League One standard team player nutmegged you on your very first appearance in this league. It was hilarious. and I loved it. Let me know your response to Joey Barton, what you think of the whole situation. A lot of people, you know, giving their response on Twitter, making it very vocal what they think of him and what they think of his points of view, and this is my response. I've made videos in the past talking about my views of the English pundit, the English fans who decide to give disrespect to the league, and you can watch those, but I just decided to give a brief summary of my opinion towards Joey Barton in this. So if you have enjoyed, like and subscribe. See you all next time.